Also, in the interest of full disclosure, I just turned 30, which makes me feel old, so I've taken to wearing cardigans and having an afternoon nap. But I'm still active. I like to run. I eat healthfully. I juice. And we live in what I consider to be the happiest place on the planet, California. Maybe all this doesn't sound like your dream at all. Your dream is bound to look different than mine, as it should. But I'm living the life I've always wanted, and there's seriously no good reason why you shouldn't do the same. Now, some of you clever overachiever types are starting to wonder why a guy like me, who's never changed careers, and never even wanted to, decided to write a book about jumping ship. Your arms are crossed, your brow is furrowed, and you're asking yourself, could anyone be less qualified to talk about this? I decided to write this book because somewhere around my mid-20s, I realized I wasn't normal. Most people's stories are more like yours. Somewhere around their mid-20s, they begin to suspect they're on the wrong track, and they want off, stat. I've seen countless friends, peers, and fellow millennials go through what you're going through. The boredom, the frustration, the hidden shame, the confusion, and the paralysis of coming to grips with the fact that they don't like where they are, what they're doing, and where they're going. I've walked step by step through this transition with many of them. Through all this, I started thinking a lot about what I'd done differently, how I'd ended up in such a different place than so many of my peers. This book is the result. Through a lot of self-reflection, I was able to reverse engineer my success story. Then things got even better. As I began to have conversations with brave people in my life who've had the guts to chuck the script other people were writing for their lives and jump ship to pursue their dreams, I realized I wasn't just a fluke. These brave people had all followed the same steps I had. Some started young, like I did, and others changed course somewhere along the line. In both cases, the steps we all followed to success looked remarkably similar. And so I set pen to paper to record the patented 7-step blueprint for dream job fulfillment, patent pending. Later in this book, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the 7-step process for landing your dream job, but I want to take a second up front to emphasize that this isn't just some shtick. When I sat down to map this out, I didn't know if it would be 3 steps or 10 steps. It turned out to be 7. And these steps have come through years and years of personal experience and the stories that come from many of my successful friends. 7 isn't a magic number. The number of steps isn't the point, or ultimately that important. What's important is that the principles can be applied to your story and the stories of the people around you, and that they work. You've probably heard the phrase jump ship before, right? I've used it already in this introduction. It's slang for bailing out, which is similar to the phrase turning tail, or, to use a now antiquated cultural jest, taking French leave, all of which are slang for quitting, fleeing, escaping, or abandoning the course you're on. At its most basic level, this book is about that concept. I want to help you escape, or even avoid, should you be so lucky, the increasingly common quarter-life crisis by giving you the kick in the pants you need to make a jump away from your current career path to the one that makes your heart come alive. I want to help you recapture that carefree enthusiasm you might not have felt since you were a kid, back when you jumped out of trees and sprinted down hills and did flips off monkey bars without even considering that you might break an ankle. This book wants you to identify that job, the dream job you want for the rest of your life, and then help you get there. Remember all those differences between us that we were talking about earlier? I want you to set those aside for a second and hear me loud and clear. We're also very similar. I'm an imperfect human just like you. I was born with no particular advantage, no wealth, no connections. My parents left me with a name and nothing else.